Hi everyone, welcome to the scariest day of our floral pencil challenge for me, and this is the light yellow. Now, I did explain yesterday, yellows are not my friend. I struggle with yellows. You may notice I don't use them very much really, but it's only because I can't seem to get them quite right. So we're going to have a go and see what happens. Now, I've been trying to choose a flower. I was tempted by this one where I wouldn't have to do any blending, but I think I should. So I'm going to use this one here. I think it looks quite cute, and I think we can work with that. Just going to try and zoom in a little bit. There we go. And we're going to start with the sunflower yellow. It's quite an orangey, nice, bright, vibrant yellow. And it's that one, wasn't it? So I'm just going to find the bottom here, and yes, start on the outside with this one. Now I find with yellow it can be quite tricky to blend, so the best thing to do is to not put down a hard layer. Sorry, I've got a book underneath and it's not under this bit, but here I am putting down a hard layer just on the outside, and I'm going to do it on both sides, trying to avoid the butterfly. And then I'm just going to gently bring it in a little bit. So you see I'm using a circular motion. I don't want too much colour coming in because we want our other yellows to blend in nicely. I find with yellow it often looks like I've got a stripe of each colour, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm just going at it gently and lightly, and hopefully I can get the result I'm looking for. Okay, and I'm then going to just put an even lighter layer here. Often I'm not quite this cautious. I wouldn't necessarily take my light layer quite so far in. I'm hoping it will help it to all blend together more nicely. More nicely? Nicer? That sounds even worse. I don't know. So we're going to move on to, this is the lemon yellow. Now normally a lemon yellow in polychromos is slightly green, but this isn't. So I do think this is the next one in the sort of across my tray. So I'm going to start around here like we did on the others. So not right on the edge, but just slightly in, and sort of cover that up and take it a little bit further through. And hopefully the colours will mix up together, and we'll get a sort of graduation of colour. Take that up there a little. And as you can see, I am going quite slowly. Sometimes I do go fast. I'll rush along a little bit just because I'm confident I know what I'm doing, but here I'm not. So I'm just taking it quite slowly. I'm not sure I can see a big difference, to be honest, in the two colours, even though there really is. And we're going to use the Jasmine Yellow as our final yellow. It's a little bit more creamy. And just take that right to the middle, but lightly, so we can still see that it's pale there. I'm just trying to make it look like there's less of a white line. Another problem I find with yellow is it can be a little bit hard to spot when you've missed a bit, because it's quite similar to white. And that might just be... Oh, thought I heard a noise outside. Someone's doing their recycling. I've been expecting a few parcels today, so I'm sort of on edge for the doorbell. Now this is the flower that I've picked. I'm trying to get in close. There we go. And I have got my sunflower yellow to use first. I'm having a look at the shape of the flower and thinking what I'm going to do is each petal I'm going to make it darker at each end. So I'm actually pressing quite hard here, but I want to make sure that I spread that colour out gently towards the middle. And I'm actually going to do the end of the petal in this darker colour too, just because for a little bit, make it look a little bit different to the other petals, because we haven't done that before on any of the flowers. and I only want to use 2 yellows on this this bit because we've got these other details that I'm going to make yellow as well. I'm going to make the petals in the centre bit here yellow, those sort of mini petals. So I'm trying to take it slowly and not press too hard. The Artezas are quite vibrant, so you don't need to press hard anyway to get a nice bit of colour on the page. And that's what I'm looking forward to when I get my prisoners. I'm getting myself excited. I'm not going to get them until May. It's fairly near the beginning, but even, well, a third of the way through. But it's always nice when you know something new is arriving, isn't it? So that's very cool. I will do a sort of a mini sort of review / swatch video where, although I think lemon yellow, I'm going to do the same as the pencil, so I'm not going to go right to the end, start about here and just draw the colour towards the centre of the petal. I don't want to leave any of the petal white if I can help it, so I'm just going to try and go really lightly in the middle, see if it works. So I don't do a swatch video as such. I like to colour something because I don't make swatch charts. I was talking about that the other day, how although I'm too impatient to make a swatch chart, I just want to colour. But then I find that if I'm using a set of pencils that I don't know very well, obviously every new set we get we have to learn, I sometimes end up scribbling it on a scrap piece of paper to see what the colour looks like, and then when I might as well be swatching it. But anyway, it's just the way I am. And actually most colours you can look at them, you can't always go by this barrel colour, or if they're dipped by the end colour, but you can look at this, and this will tell you with these most pencils, it will tell you. If you're using Inktense pencils, which I know quite a few people are fans of, that won't help you because they change colour when they're activated with water. So swatching with those is probably really important. I'm not an expert, but I would say it probably is. Now with these mini petals, I'm not going to go quite as dark as this, so I'm going to keep with this lemon yellow. Because they're so little, I'm just going to fill them in. And I'm going to try and put a few layers on there, make them vibrant. We need them to stand out from the white background. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a background on this or not. I know I sort of said at the beginning I might, but I think if we've got every colour in the box going on, then it might be tricky to actually find a colour that's going to work. I'm going to use the Jasmine for the centre. Oops, there he is. And what I'm going to do is, sorry, I was distracted then by a car outside. As I say, I'm expecting some deliveries. They're not very well. One is a polychromos pencil, which I've run out of. So I'm going to try and do a really heavy layer around the edge. And it's my brown ochre, which is teeny tiny. I didn't have a spare. It's quite interesting. Most of my polys I've got spares for, particularly small ones. But I didn't have a spare for that one. So my husband's ordered some, I think he ordered some paper, and he popped my pencil in his order. And I'm expecting some paper for the children. It's not art paper, some lined paper. They like particular pads for their college work. Our stem and leaves are quite small, so we'll do those next. Now, what should we do with these? What haven't we used actually? Let's have a little look. We haven't used the Basil Green. Now I'm thinking the Basil Green might be a little bit bluey, but I think we'll try it, because bluey greens I don't think go particularly well with yellow, but we'll try it, see what it looks like. Again, maybe if we'd swatched I might know, and then I can mix it up with a more yellowy green if I think it's not quite the right shade. So let's start here. Yeah, it's quite bluey, isn't it? Actually, in this Arteza box, I've tended to, my greens are in 2 trays, and the bluey greens tend to be in a different tray to the more yellowy olive greens and mid greens, but for some reason this one isn't. It's not that bluey though, is it? it's sort of in between. Also, maybe I just couldn't fit it in, because I always rearrange my pencils, which I guess is really naughty. I don't know. And I think I want to go darker here where there would be shadow, and so I like them in the order that makes sense to me. As I say, maybe that is naughty. Now we've got a spring green, but I think that I am going to scribble that. Well, that's really pale. Let's try it. Let's go for it. We haven't used it yet. So yeah, I rearranged them. So this is just say spring green, so that I can it just makes logical order sense to me. Although my polys are in a bit of a weird order, but I'm used to it now. So I know when I want. Oh, I'm pressing too hard. That's what that is. I know when I want a particular colour, I know where it is now, so I wouldn't want to move it back. My husband gets so agitated when I change the order. He says they have to be how they come in the box, and I'm like, no they don't. And when I got some of my castles, they were in the strangest order. They're on the lid of the castles. It gives you the names of the colours and their little swatch of each. And they weren't in that order. And same as my Black Widows, they just came in, looked like they were random. And so I put them in the order that they were on the lid. But he wouldn't have done that. He would have left them in that random order they came in the box, which I don't think is the intention of the manufacturer, for them to be in that order. But anyway, he's a funny one. It's I think I always say it's really good that we're not all the same. Life would be very boring. So as long as we have some things in common, we can get on well without having to be identical. Let's zoom out now and have a look at that. See if that green has worked. Let's push it up. Oh, I can't push it up anymore. I have to zoom out more. There we go. I think we need a little more, actually, the spring green. I'm going to put another layer on. It's nice and bright, isn't it? I guess spring greens are. We'll be getting those soon, thinking about it. That's lovely. There's a certain road when we drive to my parents'. Well, I say we, I don't. I'm a passenger. My husband drives me to my parents'. I hate driving. And when the spring green leaves come out, it's beautiful. It's some beech, they're beech trees, and it's extra pretty. I love beech tree when the bark gets really dark when it rains, and in the autumn. Gosh, that was the postman. If I hadn't been wittering on about trees, I might have finished the video before he knocked on the door. But anyway, yes, the autumn leaves are really pretty browns, and they're all on the ground, so when it rains they look really pretty too. And then if the spring leaves are coming out on the trees, you've got this lovely mix of black bark, beautiful spring greens, and the autumn leaves on the ground. Gorgeous. Anyway, there is my yellow. I'm not 100% happy with it. As I say, I'm not brilliant at yellow, but it's okay. It could be worse. I think I'd rather try gold. I like my golds. But anyway, that's me done. So if you can do a better job, please do, because yellow. But we'll be moving on. Hurrah! Tomorrow. I think we have to move on to green. That'll be interesting. Have a think. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Have lots of fun and happy colouring.